Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be discussing the philosophy of education with Dr. Stephen Hicks on the Peterson Academy. So this is now the fifth or sixth course that I've taken with Dr. Stephen Hicks, making him the professor that I've taken the most courses from now on the Peterson Academy. I believe he's even surpassed Jordan Peterson in that respect. So I absolutely loved this course. I learned so much from it. I gleaned a lot. I took a lot of notes because there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to apply to my own channel. I do have a kind of educational channel here. We got the Peterson Academy reviews, my deep thought videos, some lists. I have my why you should read videos, which I think are pretty educational. So as I develop this channel, I want it to be more and more in that vein of education. And there's a lot of stuff that I got from this course that I'm going to apply to this channel. You know, this course not only went through the philosophy of education, but kind of the history of education and the history of educational ideas, I would say, which I guess is the philosophy of education. But the history of it was very interesting to me to kind of see how ideas built off of each other, how schools developed, where did universities start, and all of that. It was very interesting. I'll have some more thoughts on the course when we get to the end of the video, but as always, I want to start with the synopsis on the Peterson Academy website first. Then I'll walk you through the names of all the lectures, we'll go over the recommended books, and then we'll conclude with what I thought of the course and kind of some of the things that I learned from it. I don't want to recite everything. I want you guys to go take this course for yourself, but if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends to help boost this channel and the algorithm. And with that all out of the way, let's get into it. In Philosophy of Education, a 10-hour course, Dr. Stephen Hicks presents the history and philosophy of education, from ancient Greece to modern times. We examine how thinkers like Plato, Augustine, Aquinas, Locke, Rousseau, Montessori, and others shaped educational ideals and practices, reflecting evolving views of human nature, knowledge, and society. The course highlights key debates around reason versus emotion, individualism versus collectivism, and traditional versus progressive approaches, revealing how these ideas continue to shape the schools we attend, the lessons we value, and the ways we think about learning today. So yeah, I hope that gives you guys kind of a general sense of what the course is about. Like I said, it's kind of two courses in one. I would say about 60% of it is actually the history of education, and then about 40% of it is actually discussing the ideas and the philosophy of education. And the history part was really what was interesting to me. Just seeing how these ideas developed, how they built off of each other, which ideas came first, and just putting it all in a timeline was very helpful to me. And I plan to do my own kind of history of education videos on this channel at some point in the future. I'm not quite ready to do those yet, but at some point I want to do that because this course was incredibly inspiring to me. I don't know how much I could do a course on the philosophy of education. I'll leave that for Stephen Hicks. Maybe someday, who knows, but yeah, it was a fantastic course. There's so many lessons that I got out of this that I'm going to apply to my channel, you know, different ways that I'm going to shape my, I guess, educational journey that I'm building for others, because this is kind of a free educational platform, I guess. I don't know if that's how I would phrase it, but I'm kind of providing videos for people that are educational, and I'm not charging anything. Nothing will ever be behind a paywall. I might eventually do some Patreon videos or some membership-only videos, but they're only going to be videos that either I can't put on YouTube, so I'll put them on Patreon. Maybe they're too explicit or they talk about things that are a little bit too violent. I might put them on my Patreon. And if I put things on my membership-only part, it will be videos that are a little bit old, dated, videos that I've redone, maybe personal videos that I don't really care sharing with everybody, stuff like that, things that I don't find too important. For the most part, I'm going to keep everything free on my channel. I want this to be a place where people can come and learn new things and not have to pay a tuition or anything like that. Obviously, I'm not going to replace university with my channel, but I hope to be an educational resource for lots of people. So far, we have 3,000. I also should probably mention that. Thank you guys for 3,000 subscribers. I'm going to have a video out soon, kind of thanking you guys again and discussing just kind of how I built my channel, a little bit of the backstory and history, some more personal facts about myself, and the trajectory that I want the channel to go on in the future. I want to kind of lay out a blueprint of where I want the channel to go with you guys, and I want you guys to help make some of those decisions. So I'm going to have a video out soon, and you guys will be able to kind of give your guys' input on how I change maybe my profile picture. You know, I might want to make a little bit of an adjustment there, or different editing choices I might make in the future, or just different ideas for videos. I'm going to kind of lay that out for you guys in a video, and you guys can actually help decide the direction in which Deep Thought goes. So, not to plug my own channel here, we got to get back to the course. I'm going to go over the names of the lectures here really quickly, and then I'm going to talk about which ones were my favorites. So the first lecture in the course was Ancient Greek Education. The second lecture was From Plato to Augustine. The third was Renaissance Educational Visions. The fourth was Through the Scientific Revolution. The fifth was Romantic Educational Visions. The sixth was Strict German Reform. The seventh was Pragmatism and Progressivism. And the eighth and final lecture was the Montessori Method. Now, out of those 8 lectures, all of them are fantastic. Obviously, Stephen Hicks, I don't even need to repeat myself, one of the greatest professors I've ever taken courses from. But my 2 favorites were the 6th and the 8th lecture. The 6th lecture was very interesting to me because it goes over the kind of Prussian reforms. Post-Napoleonic Wars, how did the Germans reform their educational system, and how did that have an influence on education today? And I think a lot of the ideas were good or well-intentioned, but there was a lot of ideas that were carried over, especially into the Americas, that I don't think work too well. And I'm going to discuss that more in a different video, kind of my criticisms, I guess, of the German Reformation when it comes to education. But I'm going to leave that there because I think everybody should go take this course and especially watch Lecture 6 if you guys want to understand just how much influence that German model had on all of the Western schools today, and in just what ways it's made it a little bit, I don't know, restrictive and dead maybe. There's the lines of desks, obviously, the walking in lines in the hallway, the bells. A lot of this stuff is to train students to become perfect soldiers, to become mindless robots in a way. Maybe not mindless robots. They do teach you stuff in school. I'm not saying school's useless, but there is a rigidity to that system that can be criticized. Jordan Peterson has criticized it many times, and an opposing view to that would be the 8th lecture. Now, Maria Montessori is a phenomenal person. I actually learned about her through this lecture series, and then I went and did a little bit of my own research on her. Very, very interesting. I highly recommend looking into her and her philosophy. I don't agree with everything, but there's a lot of things that I think we could take from her methods and readapt them to the modern day. She was working more in the 1910s, 1920s, I believe, somewhere around that time. And I feel like a lot of her ideas have been neglected or maybe lost. And I remember bringing her up to my sister, and my sister is a teacher right now. Actually, she's on strike because in Alberta, all of our teachers are on strike. So she hasn't actually gotten to teaching just yet, but she's now a teacher. She's graduated. And I was asking her if she's ever read about Maria Montessori while she was in school. And she actually said they kind of briefly went over her, but they didn't really go into her that much. And that kind of made me sad because I feel like every teacher needs to learn about this woman, her ideas, her philosophy. And yeah, anyways, I had a blast with the 8th lecture. I learned about a new person that I didn't know about before, Maria Montessori, and I learned about her philosophy, and it was very interesting. And like I said, the 6th lecture really put things into place for me and showed me the influence of the German system on the modern Western educational system, I guess. So let's move on now to the recommended books. So the first recommended book is a book that I'm very excited to pick up because, like I said, I learned about Maria Montessori through this course. And the first book is The Montessori Method by Maria Montessori. So I'm probably going to go pick that book up relatively soon because I fell in love with this woman and her philosophy when I started reading about her, and I want to learn more about it. So I'm going to go pick up this book for myself soon. I might do a book review for it. We'll see. If I really like it and I want to share it with you guys, I will do a Why You Should Read video on it. After that, we have John Locke, Some Thoughts Concerning Education. I've read John Locke before, but I've never read this work. So if it's short enough, I'm going to go read it maybe even tonight. I don't know, maybe sometime this week. We'll see. I don't even know what the page count is on that, but I've read Locke before and I do enjoy reading Locke. And then the last recommended book is Democracy and Education, An Introduction to the Philosophy of Education by Dewey. Dewey is the only name there at the end. I'm not too familiar with that book. I'm going to look into it more, and I'll probably get around to picking it up eventually. I think every single recommended book on the Peterson Academy I'm going to eventually pick up. I just don't know when. It could be a year from now. It could be 5, could be 10, could be 20 years from now. I don't know. I have a long wish list when it comes to books, so just whenever I get around to it. But all 3 of those books seem like great reads, so if you guys want to go pick those up, those are the recommended books. So to give you guys my concluding thoughts, I'm just going to talk a little bit about something that happened in the start of the first lecture, because I don't want to get into the specifics of any of the lectures. I really want you guys to go take this course for yourself. Even if you're not interested in education, if you're just interested in learning, which if you're watching this video, you probably are, you should go take this course because it's fantastic. It really shows you, like I said, the complete history and philosophy of education. It's not an extremely exhaustive course. It's only 8 lectures. It probably could be longer, but hopefully we get a part 2 one day. That would be fantastic. But yeah, I think everyone should take this course. One thing that I really, really liked about it is the way the course opened. In the first lecture, Stephen Hicks starts by asking a very broad question. He asks, if you were going to develop a school and you had infinite money, infinite resources, how would you develop it? What would you focus on? Would you focus more on sciences or would you focus more on arts? Would you focus more on individualism or collectivism? Would you have big classrooms, small classrooms? And he asks all of these questions, and he puts these questions into your mind in the first few minutes of the course so that you can think about them all throughout the series while he's revealing to you the history and philosophy of education and how it's developed. So it was a fantastic way to start the course. I think that was a great way to prep the students, to get them thinking in the right way. But it's also a question that stuck with me. You know, I've been thinking about it ever since I started this course. How would I develop my own school? Because it's the question that Jordan Peterson asked himself when he started the Peterson Academy, and now we're seeing the fruits of that. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll start my own academy. Probably not. I'll probably just stick with Deep Thought and this brand or whatever I'm creating here. I still don't know what this is half the time. But yeah, this question got me thinking a lot of, how can the Peterson Academy develop? In which ways should it tilt? And in which ways should my channel develop? Because I'm creating like I said, somewhat of an educational channel. So in which way should I tilt my channel? Which philosophy should I bring in or lean more towards? So that was a very cool question. And I've been thinking about it many nights. If I had infinite money, infinite resources, how would I build my own school? I'd probably have... The one thing that I know is I would have the architecture of Oxford or Cambridge. I think for me, that's like the best place to learn. Even if Harvard's maybe a better school, if you're practicing medicine, maybe it's better to go to Johns Hopkins or something like that. But for me, there's something about the beauty of the architecture at Cambridge and Oxford that just inspires learning. It makes you want to be there. It makes you want to dig through the libraries, especially when there's old books, old archives, stuff like that. I feel like that stuff's just not replaceable. As much as I love the Peterson Academy, I way prefer taking courses here than I did my university that I went to before. There's not many universities on the planet that I'd rather take courses from than the Peterson Academy. But, I'm just sitting here in my bedroom or in my living room, sitting on my couch, on a laptop. It would be so much nicer to walk through a castle like Oxford. So I don't know. That's not really something that you can replicate. There's only one Oxford. There's only one Cambridge. But if I had my dream school, I'd buy the grounds of Oxford. I'd buy the entire school and I'd start my own school on those grounds because, man, studying in a place like Hogwarts is just, to me, it's what I want to do. It's where I want to be. So anyways, I'm kind of getting off track here. Like I said, I absolutely recommend this course for everybody. I think everybody should take it. I learned a lot from it. One of the most educational courses for me, I guess. It's one of the courses that I've learned the most from. So very valuable for me. I think everybody should take it. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I don't want to repeat myself too much. So one thing I want to leave you guys with before I go is a question to you, the audience. This has nothing to do with this course that I just talked about. It has to do with my channel and how I cover these Peterson Academy courses. So I take a lot of courses. I do not one a week. I try to do one a week. Close to that. I'm close to doing one a week. And I feel like sometimes it's a little bit much to have so much Peterson Academy content coming out on my channel. And my channel is not a Peterson Academy channel. Like my channel is not dedicated to just the Peterson Academy. I know some people might think that. Maybe they only watch my Peterson Academy videos. But I want my channel to be way more than that. I want my channel to be a reflection of my own vision, of my own goals, my own philosophies, my own ideas. That's why I named it Deep Thought, because I wanted something general so I could talk about whatever I wanted to, science, art, whatever. I moved my MMA content onto a separate channel because that was a little bit distracting. That was a little bit jarring to have UFC videos next to philosophy of Plato videos and stuff like that. So that I put aside, but this channel is a pretty wide open channel. I make videos on a lot of different things, and I want to keep doing that. I want to keep developing that. So I want to scale back, not how many videos, well, how many videos I make on the Peterson Academy, but not how much content. So what I've been thinking about doing is, instead of doing individual reviews for every single course, what I might start doing now is one video every single month where I review all of the courses that I've taken for that month. So it's one video. It'll be longer than my average review videos because I'll pack 4 or 5 reviews, maybe 6 reviews into one video. And I'll take my time and just kind of go through all of those reviews in one video instead of putting them out separately. I think that should declutter my channel a little bit and make it a little bit more easier to navigate. I don't know. You guys can let me know down below in the comments. If you guys prefer me to do individual videos for each course, I can still keep doing that. I don't mind. But I thought maybe it would be a good idea to clump them all together and have like, these are the reviews that I'm doing for December, right? And have my December review video. I've taken these courses. I'll put them all in the thumbnail, which courses I've taken, and then I'll spend that whole video just breaking down the courses that I took for that individual month. So that's what I was thinking about doing. If you guys like that idea, let me know down below in the comments. And yeah, like I said earlier in the video, I will have a video out very shortly on my 3,000 subscribers. I'm just going to share some thanks with you guys, share my background, share where I came from, some personal facts, how I developed this channel, how I kind of got the equipment and stuff like that, what equipment I have, kind of show you guys how I'm doing it. So maybe if you guys want to go out and start your own channel, it'll inspire you guys. And then, like I said, I want to lay out a blueprint for the future and have a bunch of questions for you guys because, I want you guys to have an influence on the channel as well. This is my channel, but it's also your channel as well. I wouldn't have this without you guys. I probably would have quit a long time ago if there weren't 3,000 people subscribing to this channel. I'm incredibly thankful for that, and I want you guys to have some influence on where this goes in the future. So I'll maybe put some logos up on screen that I'm playing around with. Maybe you guys can choose one of them for the channel. I'll put out some ideas of some new videos I want to make, and you guys can decide which ones I do first, stuff like that. So expect a video like that coming out soon. Again, I just want to say thank you guys for 3,000. That means so much to me. You guys have no idea. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends so we can get to more. I want to hit 10,000 next, maybe 5,000 first. I guess that's the next big milestone, then 10,000, then 100,000, then hopefully 1,000,000 one day. I hope we get there and we can do it with your guys' help. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, it means the absolute world to me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.